Okay, are you ready for it? This is the video that you've been waiting for a long time. Now, if you're vegan, or if you are a potential raw vegan, or if you're just thinking about going plant-based, but this is your fear, this is the video for you. Muscle wasting. Yes, I will tell you 7 ways to not let your muscles waste away on a plant-based diet. And it starts now. Stay tuned. Hello, my peoples. This is Raw Vegan Food Diet. This is the channel where we discuss everything having to do with your optimal health through a raw plant-based diet. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button if this is the type of content that you like to listen to and you think you can benefit from. Now let's get right into the video. Now, if you've been eating plant-based for a long time, you may or may not know that you are exposing yourself to a lower intake of absorption of key amino acids. What are those amino acids? Leucine and lysine. These amino acids are crucial for muscle protein maintenance. But even with adequate protein, gaps in timing can lead to gradual muscle loss over time. So, as promised, here are the core strategies to make sure that your protein levels are up to par so you're not wasting away. So, strategy A, aim to get about 0.6 to 1 gram of protein per body weight per day. And you can spread these across 3 to 5 meals. And you can also combine complementary proteins. So for raw vegans, it would be something like lentil sprouts. For cooked vegans, it would be something like black beans. Now, doing this will increase your essential amino acid profile. Now, on to strategy B. Now, in strategy A, you are optimizing your protein quality and distribution. Now, in strategy B, we want to prioritize lysine and leucine intake. Now, you want to target foods that are high in leucine per serving. So, some of these foods are soy products, legumes, and nuts and seeds. Now, this triggers MPS. Lysine is plentiful in soy, tempeh, lentils, beans, and even quinoa. Now, with the exception of tempeh, all of these proteins can be made into raw form through sprouts. So you want to plan your meals to make sure that these amino acids are in each of your meals multiple times a day. So strategy C, okay, this is the third one. Strategize your timing and workouts. So here's how to do it. Consume a small protein-based snack between like 1 and 2 hours post workout. Now, this will give you the maximum recovery. So, a 20 to 40 gram protein window with lysine is enough to drive muscle repair. So, strategy D, this is the fourth strategy. We want to focus on caloric and nutrient density. You want to maintain a slight caloric balance where you're not in a chronic deficit. So include energy dense plant foods like nut butters, whole grains like sprouted buckwheat, and avocados. Now, this supports training without getting an overwhelming volume of food. Now, strategy E. Strategy E is to leverage fortified foods and targeted nutrients. Now, you want to be careful with some of these fortified foods, like vitamin D in some orange juices and also omegas. Some of those are non vegan. But the way I like to get fortified foods is through nutritional yeast, specifically when I'm practicing a raw vegan diet. You can get multiple different profiles of B vitamins in nutritional yeast. And you can also get this in protein powders with complete amino acid profiles. What you want to focus on are vitamin D, vitamin B, Also, you want to focus on omega 3. For some athletes, as well as myself, these targeted protein amino acid blends helps to fill some of the gaps. But if you're not really sure about how much of each vitamin you should get, in the description below, I have a lot of the basics that not just raw vegans need, but I find that even a cooked plant based vegan would need to fill in those gaps, right? But this is just basic. So if you need more, then you can consult your doctor. Now, strategy F. Now we come down to 6. We only have one more left after this. Now, this one is strategic meal planning and variety. So important. So I would say a good rule of thumb is to plan your meals about 4 to 7 meals ahead with various different protein sources. Now, you're doing this because you want to minimize any anti nutritional effects through your diet, and you want to have maximum absorption for your protein sources. Also, you can try rotating your proteins. Now, this breaks free of the monotony, and also it makes sure that you are absorbing properly and it keeps nutrients in balance. Now, this is the last strategy. Number 7, strategy G. This one is actually my favorite. Okay, this is what I personally do to maintain a body that is fit, muscular, low body fat. That's what I prefer to feel my optimal health. And that is consistent workouts. Yes, maybe your least favorite, but it is my favorite. Resistance training consistency. Now, I think we know by now that diet matters, but resistance training drives muscle retention. So I would say a good rule of thumb is to start with about 3 to 5 days a week of progressive overload workouts. So, what is that? Choosing a weight, something that you can do resistance weight with that is doable for you, then progressing to heavier and heavier and heavier loads as you go. Okay, now you get to choose based on your body and your workouts, right? Your previous experience. If you're not an athlete, you might want to start with 10-pound dumbbells, then move to 12, 15, and so on. You get the gist. Now, these type of workouts will maintain muscle mass along with your nutrition. Now, here are some things that trip us up. These are some common pitfalls that I don't want to see you go through. So I'll just state them here. One of them is just completely relying on your diet for muscle mass. This will not work. For instance, if you're just relying on protein powders alone, some of those profiles that are not based in whole foods can miss some of those protein profiles that you need. Another thing that can blunt your results is if you're underestimating how many calories you need. So if you're under eating, that's a no bueno. Also, if you're mistiming how often you should eat around your workout times, that can also make your gains seem non existent. So, what to do? So, you want to stay consistent by ignoring some of those social meals with your friends or whoever is asking you to go out that you know is going to break your regimen. So, all in all, stay consistent with your protein targets. So, you can expect to see some results within about 2 weeks, right? So, here's a quick start plan, just something loosely to get you started. So, in your first week, you'd want to map 4 to 5 protein rich meals daily. So, you want to ensure that you have at least one leucine rich source per meal. And post workout, have a 20 to about 30 grams protein snack. So in week 2, you just want to add one fortified product if gaps show up in your markers, like the protein powders we discussed earlier. and adjust the portions for your energy needs. Now, how will you be able to track this? Now, you can use this free app. Now, I've talked about the app before. It's Chronometer. I've been using Chronometer for years, off and on. Specifically, when you're beginning a new regimen or you're changing your regimen, you want to use Chronometer to input all of your food, and it will tell you meal by meal how much protein you're getting per meal. So this app is extremely helpful. So even before using something like Chronometer, you want to get a basic scale. Now, if you are a little under 140 pounds, you will expect to get about 70 to like 120 grams of protein a day. I've even seen some charts that go as high as matching your body weight, which is, would say, about 140 grams of protein a day. Now, you may be realizing by now that's a hell of a lot of difference from 70 to 140. What will be right for you? Now, if you're right at the 140 mark, so you're heavier and you're highly active, you want to target the higher end of daily protein to get. So you want to always tailor your body to your performance goals. So as you can see, muscle maintenance is achievable on a plant-based diet, but you have to keep these things in mind. Be intentional with your protein quality. Also, timely consumption and solid training. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, also hit the subscribe button, and share your meal ideas in the comments below. See you again for another important video. Bye.